Bam! Jayson Waller here with the Unleashed podcast. That's right. I am bringing it to you real. I'm bringing it to you raw. I'm bringing it to you unleashed. That's right. The handcuffs are off, and we are here talking about everything from aliens like my buddy here, Zog, to politics, to business, to scaling a business, to marketing, you name it, we're covering it here on the show. That's why it's called Unleashed. That's why we're able to talk about anything and everything, including aliens, including business, including life, including family, including everything and anything you can think of. We've got it. Today's show is going to be off the hook. We are going to talk about betrayal and friends. In business and in life. That's right. Betrayal between friends in business and in life. And what does that mean? How do we talk about people that we think are our friends that aren't our friends? We'll talk personal first. So personally, you might have some people you consider your friends. They are polite to you, they are kind to you, but in relationships, it's give and take. And some friends only take, and some friends only give. And you guys know what I'm talking about out there. Sometimes in life, you will have a relationship, could be a marriage, could be a friendship, could be boyfriend, girlfriend, could be something to where you are continually either giving or you're continually taking, and the other one's doing the opposite. Think about it. Listen to me. How many of you got friends out there, right? And you're having to feel like you're walking on a thin sheet of ice and tiptoeing around to not piss them off, to not hurt their feelings because you care so much about the friendship, you care so much about hanging out, you care so much about spending time, but they don't put in the same effort. They don't put in the same concern. They don't put in the same thought process and being concerned of how you feel. You got to understand, in life, there are givers and there are takers. In life, there are people that go above and beyond and people that don't. Does that make those that go above and beyond better than those that don't? No, it makes them different. It makes them different. Well, what does that mean, Jayson? Here's what that means. I don't have a lot of friends, okay? I have a handful of friends, 4 or 5, that I consider my really good friends. Each one of them is different. If I'm really sick, just in bed, sick with that fake COVID shit, flu C, one of those friends will be like, dude, is there anything I can get you? Can I get you tea? Can I get you, can I do that? The other 4 might not say anything. Does that make that one friend better than those 4? No, it doesn't. Makes that person different. A different friend in a different situation, maybe I'm fighting with my wife. Maybe I'm having marital problems. Maybe I'm having relationship problems. Maybe I'm stressed out and screaming and we're arguing. I'm staying at a hotel or something's going on. That same friend that offered to help take care of me when I was sick isn't the same friend where someone else calls and says, man, are you okay? Do you want to go get a drink and talk about it? So one of my 5 friends, that person reaches out then. Okay? Does that make that friend better than the others? No. Makes them different. Let's go to the next situation. Maybe I lose my job. Maybe I get fired. Maybe something happens with work. The first friend may or may not reach out. The second friend may or may not reach out. But I have another friend that pays attention to what I do in work and what's going on. And that person would be like, dude, are you okay? You want to work with me? We're going to get a job. What do you want to do? That person does something different than the other 2. Does that make that friend better than the other 2? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. The point is you're going to have friends in different situations where they give more than they take. You're also going to have friends, I have 2, that aren't going to give much at all, but they're still my friends. They still would carry my casket till their legs fell off. They still would go and do anything for me if I ask. But they're the type that are like, look, I'm not going to bother you. I'm going to let you cope with your shit, dude. I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to bother you. I don't want to call and say, hey, are you okay? I don't want to hurt your feelings. I go back to this as like, Kevin Klink, who's one of my best friends in the world. We haven't talked a lot, lately. We kind of do our own thing right now. But he was a very dear friend. And if I ever needed anything, Kevin would do it. But Kevin wasn't the proactive type friend to say, hey, Jayson, do you need anything? Can I do anything for you? In fact, a lot of cases I'd be like, hey, can you guys go turn off our lights? We forgot to, or set our alarm. We forgot to, we left. And it would be almost inconvenient. It would be almost a headache or a hassle. How many times do you have friends where you ask them to do something and they sigh and they just, if you're that close to them, they can do that. They act like that. Like it's an inconvenience sometimes to be your friend. But if it was big shit, Kevin would be there like, no matter what, let's go. But when it's small Mickey Mouse shit, Kevin's not there. What I'm trying to tell you on a personal standpoint is all friends are different. They're all not the same. They're all different. And each friend, just like in any relationship you have, has different attributes. Some friends bring different values to the relationship than others. Some friends bring different assets to the relationship than others. Different things and how they're going to treat you and empower you and elevate you than others in different situations. I'm not the type, I'm learning to be the type, to go and impose into somebody's problems and embarrass them maybe and say, hey, is there anything I can do? I've now changed to do a lot more of that now that I've had a lot more spare time. And now that, when our company closed and all this drama happened and everything, I had a couple friends reach out and a couple friends that didn't. I wasn't mad at the ones that didn't. I understood why they didn't, because I'm the type that might be, hey, you know what? I may not be the type that calls and says, hey, is everything okay? Because I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want you to deal with your own shit. Like, I like to deal my own shit by myself. However, the point is I measure friendship on when big shit happens. Are they there for you? When things spiral, are they there for you? When you are in dire need, are they there for you? Are they going to defend you when someone else runs their mouth about you? Are they going to have your back when somebody is making up things about you? Are they going to be there if your family needs them to be? Those are some of the dynamics I look for in who my real friends are. And let me tell you, I've got a lot of friends from middle school and high school that, well, I don't have a lot from high school. Most of them are passed away, unfortunately, from pills. But I have some, and most of them are in Arizona. The North Carolina ones, most of them have passed, unfortunately. And but the ones in Arizona and the friends that I've got there, we don't talk every day. Shit, we don't even talk every year. I just reached out to a friend, Nick, who's a huge Packers fan. I ain't talked to in about 4 years. I reached out to him because I'm at Lambeau Stadium. We're FaceTiming each other. We're cutting up for a few minutes. And guess what? It was like nothing ever happened. Now, is he the type of friend if something goes on, my family's going to be there? No, he's more of acquaintance. He's an old memory friend, right? I have another guy I would consider, he was growing up, was one of my best friends, Joey and Ricky. Love those guys to death. But do they call and check on me every day? No. Do I call and check on them every day? No. If I needed something and I called and asked them, would they give me something? Of course. But they're not a day-to-day friend. They're not a close friend to me right now because they're distant. They're more acquaintance friends. But because of our history, and I'm sure you guys can understand and relate to this with some of your relationships, they would do things for me. But what those things, the capacity is, I don't know, right? So you're getting different relationships and different vibes and different connections and friends all the time of what you consider a friend. I consider friends if I'm going to war or I have a battle or I have something I have to deal with, who's going to be all in with me, right? Who is hitched with me? Who loves me and I love them? And I tell my friends, they know if they're my friends because I hang up by saying, I love you, man. Love you too, brother. Like, those are my friends. When I tell someone I love them, they're my friend because I do love them. I may not talk to them a lot. I may not see them a lot, but I love them, right? And it's okay you need to love your friends. Now, I don't say that to everybody. I hang up some people, they're acquaintances, they're good people. I like them. But my friends, I tell them, I love you, man. Because I do. And I know at first when they first become my friend, it becomes weird. But like, I have friends of mine like they're like, dude, you're my only friend. I say I love you too, but I like that because it's a connection. It's saying, dude, like I love you, like you're my pal, and you're supposed to love your close friends. But pride kicks in, and struggle kicks in, and insecurity kicks in where people don't want to ask for help or people don't want to ask for advice or people don't want to feel like they're imposing. And I think that sometimes friends need to feel valued. As a parent, you need to feel valued. You need to feel needed as a parent. When your kids grow up and they move out and you don't feel needed, you have an identity issue. It's facts. Husbands and wives want to feel needed. Parents want to feel needed, but friends want to feel needed. Friends want to feel valued and they want to feel needed. They want to know you need them sometimes. So even though you think you're doing the right thing by not reaching out to them and imposing or annoying, like You might be doing the wrong thing because they need to feel needed. Now, you can't be the type of friend that just needs and needs and needs, and then so you're taking and you're not giving. It's really got to be a balance, because life is going to be up and down and left and right like a roller coaster for everybody. And nobody gets to get a pass on that. I don't care what social media shows and what kind of magical life people think they're living. They're fucking full of shit. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got issues. Everybody's got things going on. So don't buy into their bullshit. The more perfect it is on social media, the bigger the fucking liar they are. Facts. So just know that everybody's got things going on. So what are you going to do about that? If your friend needs help, like I'm real big into, and my friends will attest to this, I reach out to friends like all the time. Probably every couple of weeks, I'm messaging, hey, I hope you're well. This is me reaching out in case they need someone to talk to, in case they need something, because I know sometimes I need that. Even Barry Sanders is my friend. The day we closed, he flew in. He checks in on me every now and then. Calvin Johnson. Those are big name, high celebrity folks that I wasn't even very close to, but we built such a great relationship and we have such a respect for each other that they reach out and check on me, and I check on them. Like, that is friendship. That's how this works. And so that's why I want to talk about, you have to understand they're all not the same. You know, I've got daughters, they get frustrated with certain friends every now and then, right? They're like, well, this friend does this and this friend does that. And I'm like, honey, each friend's different. It doesn't make them less than. Like, I go back to this, and I use Kevin as an example. He's an easy one to use. Kevin is nicer on the outside than me. I'm hardcore on the outside. Like, he's nicer on the outside. Like, hey, how are you? He's got more empathy and sympathy, but he's colder in the inside. Where I'm harder and less empathy and sympathy on the outside, but I'm more gooey in the inside. Like, I love harder. Like, I'll do more. That doesn't make me better than him or him better than me. It makes us different. It makes us different. On the surface, you're going to get more from Kevin, but in deep, you probably won't. On the surface, you're going to get less from me, but in deep, you probably will get more. And that's what I'm talking about. We've had these conversations where, you know, this relationship, people's friendships, this is what happens. I bring up this show today for a couple reasons. I bring it up because, you know, I've ran businesses that have succeeded, and I ran a business that failed. And in that, I've had friends and family work for me. And when a company closes, and it closes for something outside of your control, when it closes, you feel like you failed. You feel ashamed that you couldn't win. You feel insecure that you couldn't conquer. You feel like you let everybody down, so you may go silent. I did that. I went silent. And when I went silent, it told certain people that I don't care about them, even though they worked hard, when we closed, because I didn't reach out to them. And my argument would be, well, they didn't reach out to me either. Like, this was really hard for me. But I get it. And that's why I've taken time to reach out to some folks that used to work for me over time and say, hey, I just want to tell you I love everything you did. I appreciate everything you are. And I appreciate our friendship and our relationship. If there's anything I can ever do for you in the future, thank you. And thank you for being there. I'm sorry I didn't reach out earlier. I was having to figure this out because I feel like I couldn't win and we lost. And, you know, ultimately that falls on me, you know, and my team, and I didn't like it. So those things were really hard. And I bring all of this up because, you know, sometimes you'll have people who you think are your friends and they're not. When it doesn't benefit them, they have no use for you. You know, how many of you have friends in there that, you know, when it's good. When you can do things for them, you can take them places and all these things. And, you know, friends that you know that term, right? Yeah, I'm being used by this friend. Maybe you have something. It doesn't have to be financially. It could be something that you bring to the relationship that they're using you for. And then when they're not getting that, they're out. Meaning their friendship was always paper thin to you. And it meant more to you than it meant to them. And we all have some of those friends like that. And it was an eye-opening experience for me when our company closed of who was my friend and who wasn't. Who well, I they don't work for me. I can't do nothing for them, so they don't care anymore. That's really hard. That's hard to deal with. That's hard to swallow. That's hard to accept sometimes. But you got to accept it. You can't live in it. You can't cry in it. You can't complain in it. You just accept it. That's how this works. You accept it for what it's worth. And I tell a story. I had a guy that worked for me. It's very close to me. Had a high level position in the business. I considered a brother. I considered a friend. And this guy was losing his ass and doing his own endeavor before I brought him on to work for me. And this guy came to work for me, so he had a great opportunity. Had a lot of envy towards me, wanted to do all the things I was doing, wanted to have a book, wanted to do speaking, wanted to do a TED Talk, wanted to be super successful, told me, dude, I want to do all the things you're doing. Like, I've always aspired to do that. And I would have to say, well, dude, I'm doing that now. I'm the face of this company. But one day, hopefully we take this company public and, you can be a face of something that you want to do and you can do all these things and I can help you. But he had a lot of envy, and sometimes envy can be sick and it can poison you. And this guy worked really hard. He was a great worker and always, in most cases, always did the right thing. Really ran great department in our business, and we saw eye to eye on a lot of things. But the envy was growing over time. And the bigger the company got, because this person wanted a piece of the company, and the bigger I got, the more envious and jealous this individual became, which is very sad. Because this individual had a lot of good times with this person, respected this person, and truly believed that this person was my friend, was like a brother to me at one time. And turns out that was really one way. This person, did well in their opportunity with me. And, but the envy kicked in and started to taint this person's view of me. And this person justified, things they did that weren't, as ethical as they could be, taking advantage of the company for self-indulgence, right? Not anything unethical with customers or other employees, but really unethical for self-indulgence. And that became an issue, and didn't even know about it till really the end. But what I did know is that this person always wanted to be liked and loved. And a lot of people out there, they want to be liked, they want to be loved, and they want to matter. And this person wanted it so bad that this person would compromise decision-making for friendship. So this person that worked for us actually was a high-level person in our company and went with our company on a retreat to Montana in 2021 and got drunk. The other executives didn't go, and got drunk with employees, intoxicated, and got naked and was doing freaking snow angels in front of the employees. You can't make this shit up. Literally doing snow angels ass naked in front of the employees. Thank goodness there was no ladies out there at that time. And people filmed this. And this person wanted to be liked so much that they put their guard down, they got intoxicated, and tried to make friends making snow angels with everybody out there. It was really beneath this person, really beneath the level that they were in the company. Totally unacceptable. And at the time, we were talking to a company to go public, and we had a private investor, and we didn't know about this for like a month. And then after, the HR director who left sent it in and said, we had some kind of incentive bonus where we did a sign-on bonus for this HR person where after 90 days they would get an additional bonus. And this person resigned before 90 days and said, if you don't pay this bonus, I'm going to share this publicly, blah, blah, blah. Basically blackmailed us. We had to get the attorneys involved. And we were advised that maybe we fire this individual. That was consideration. Maybe you need to fire this individual. And I felt bad. Like, this was somebody I was close to. This was somebody, I knew their family. They worked hard. They were high up in our business. They always preached integrity. They always preached, all these things. And most part in business, like they ran a tight ship, a really, do the right thing business model in the departments this person was in, for sure. Like 1,000%, like gets it. But for self-indulgence, had so much envy, and envy creates hate for what I was doing, and jealousy, thought that this person should be there, justified in this person's head, taking advantage of the company, basically, stealing on expense reports and things like that over time. We didn't know till later. And took it upon themselves to get everyone to love them, drinking and party with everybody, getting intoxicated, making a snow angel. So we had to have a sit down with this individual. And we debated letting this person go. And we didn't. Because of their work ethic being so good. And it was good. And because of this person's integrity during the job was so good. And because I knew this person, I cared for him, it was a friend. I felt like just a mistake. This person just made a mistake. Wrong place, wrong time. Tried to get people to like them too much. Just a mistake. So we wrote this person up. We were advised from legal. We were advised from the company taking us public. We were advised to either terminate him or put him in a special sexual conduct class and put a no alcohol policy into the company. And so that's what we did. We put a no alcohol policy into the company because of that. Now, we didn't have much alcohol in the company anyways. It was frowned upon. There was no reason you should ever have alcohol. You go to dinner with a manager, there's no reason. But we didn't have that policy in place. The policy was put in place because of this individual. Long story short, we moved past it, trying to take the company public, et cetera, et cetera. This person ends up having their own beef with, situations and executives not getting paid, and had another opportunity and didn't like being micromanaged, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Took it upon themselves to leave. When this person left, my feelings were hurt that they left. I wasn't angry. I've always said, listen, if you can better yourself in life, and I still feel this way today, right? If you ever work for me, we're partners, wherever. If you have an opportunity to better yourself in life and you're going to go do something else, even if it competes with me, I'm okay with that. As long as you don't lie, cheat, or steal. You can't lie to us, you can't cheat us, and you can't steal from us. You can't lie and steal customers or steal reps or steal employees or assets of the business. If you're going to do your own thing, I'm never going to be mad. And there are so many entrepreneurs out there, a lot that reached out to me on Father's Day. I'm like, dude, you were like a dad, thanks, appreciate it. That opened their own company to compete with me that I never had beef with, never had an issue with, because they did it the right way. And this person was an entrepreneur and had their own business, but couldn't really run it really well and struggled not being the number one in this company. And so this person had an identity issue, for sure. All the executives would talk about it. This person has an identity issue and is very envious and jealous of Jayson. It was facts. And I treaded water softly, thinking, hey, we can get through this. Let me kind of be a big brother to him and help him out. And, maybe he's in a tough spot and he's envious, but show him there's light at the end of the tunnel for him to be able to be the man again or whatever. But after the alcohol thing, it was like, oh boy, okay, well, let's straighten this out. And then you had the issue of leaves, quits. And then we find out later that this person had expense reports turned in where they were doing all kinds of things. It wasn't just stupid things like alcohol and cigars, which this person, proclaims that, that was allowed. It wasn't allowed. There was a policy put in place because of this person's actions a year and a half before then. But this person was buying cigars and alcohol, and this person was booking trips on the company's behalf for employees and then getting kickbacks, which is illegal. You can't get kickbacks if you're an executive of a company. Getting kickbacks personally for them to have vacation time and all these things, which we have proof of all that. That's why we ended up suing this person. I will say the biggest disappointment was when they left. I was disappointed they were going somewhere else, but I accepted it. It's like, all right, I get it, whatever. It's tough. You can't help manage through this. You can't get a paycheck. I got it. I think the biggest issue I had of everything was finding out 5 or 6 weeks later that this person was taking advantage of the expense reports and sliding things in for over 2 years. This person was with us for almost 3 years. And they justified it in their brain that it was okay. When the company was struggling, we were laying people off and we weren't, we were trying to survive and fix things because of the Generac product liability issue and all the service calls that were killing us and the tens of millions of dollars not being paid for service, and Generac using the company, this company NovaSource to help service it, and they were going so slow, and then we were having to go back out and fix what NovaSource even made worse, and all of those nightmares. This person not only bailed, this is what I'm talking about, friendship and friendship, loyalty, and what's the word I'm looking for? This wasn't just a friend. They weren't loyal. They turned their back and went the opposite way and stole and self-indulgence, and it was just unhealthy. And so when this person left, like I said, we all accepted it. When we found out on the expense reports, we couldn't believe it. We had to have it like quadruple checked, and it was sickening. And I think that's where I got shocked, where someone that was close to me as a friend that I brought in for a career, that was struggling, that had their own business and then needed another opportunity, that worked really hard and worked really good. Can't challenge the work stuff. The work stuff was great, but had this envy and anger and jealousy towards me that they justified in their brain to take advantage of the company and falsify expense reports saying it was business when it was personal, and then go work for a competitor and forget about this, and then sued this person for this. And look, where I messed up, because I'm not innocent, is I was so hurt and pissed that I shared with the world that this guy did this. I shared with the world that this guy was a thief. I shared with the world that this guy was a con, that this guy literally stole from the company and was not this perfect Christian person that he claimed to be, that he wasn't. Never challenged him in his work ethic or his results doing his job or the composure of him doing his job, because he did a great job. It was his integrity. It was his personality. It was his morals that were fake. You can't justify stealing from anybody ever. And he was doing that with the company for self-indulgence. And he was a friend. How do you deal with that? It hurts. And it's been a long time we haven't talked. And sometimes I miss him. I'm like, dude, I hope that guy's doing okay. But that's hard to deal with. And how many of you ever have to deal with that in life? You have to deal with people that are disloyal to you, that lie, cheat, or steal from you, or take advantage of you, or aren't your friends when you do things for them. And that's something that you've got to accept and deal with. And look, I'm not innocent. I'm a motherfucker. Always have been, probably always will be. I have zero tolerance. Anybody that knows me, they know I don't deal with stealing, lying, or cheating. Those are things I don't deal with. I'm a son of a bitch. I've been named a bully. I've been named all kinds of things in life. I have zero tolerance for lying, cheating, or stealing, period. That's just how I roll. You can't do it to individuals. You can't do it to businesses. You can't do it to customers. You can't do it to friends. You can't do it to family. You can't do it to fucking anybody. And it's just shocking that when you see how people really are sometimes, and it's appalling. I had another friend, 04, 05, when I worked in the alarm business. One of my best friends growing up from high school, one of my best friends on the planet, was stealing security items and selling them on fucking eBay. Like, no shit. For months. We're talking 20, back then, it was a big deal because the business wasn't that big, $15,000, $20,000 worth. And we're like, there's something wrong, our inventory's off. And dude, I believe God works the way he's supposed to work. I believe things come back the way it's supposed to come back, and things show up the way they're supposed to show up. You're doing something bad, you're going to get caught. And this like landed in our lap that this guy was on eBay under a fake name selling it. It was like, hold on, that's his address. And I'm like, why would that be selling it? Why would someone be selling Honeywell equipment? Oh my God. And we investigated and he freaked out and he moved to Arizona. We'd have found charges on him and they extradited him 2 years later and he had to pay. My point to this is sometimes people aren't who you think they are. And sometimes people are going to lie to you. They're going to steal from you and they're going to cheat on you. My advice to you is you give people your love. You give people your kindness. You give people your heart. But if they cross certain lines, sometimes you got to cut that off. And you need to make sure that you're always doing the right thing, that you don't get upset with friends that don't do what other friends do. Right? I brought up the example, and I bring this up because my kids are going through some stuff. Like some friends will call and check on you. Some friends might bring you something. Every friend is different. You need to remember that. That's the lesson on the personal side. On the business side, try not to do business with friends because it puts everything in a hard situation. Like every company I've had, working with friends, it's good, but it kind of ruins the relationship because then when you are their boss, they don't like you because you have to tell them what to do. They get angry. You're like, dude, like I'm your boss. Like I know we're friends. We go out there, we're buddies, high five, let's watch football. But in here, you're not doing your job. I got to hold you accountable. Some people can't accept that. And that's a problem. It's a problem. So in life, make sure you're kind. Make sure you love. Make sure you always do the right thing. Make sure you're there for people. Make sure that you check on your friends. Make sure when they need something, you can do it for them. Don't ask me, friends, to help you move. I won't. I'll give you some money to get movers. I ain't fucking moving you. I hate fucking moving. Don't even fucking ask. But do me a favor. Check on some of your pals out there, some of your lady friends. Just check on them. Life's hard. Life's sad. Life's depressing. There's nothing better than having an old friend reach out to me, dude. I get giddy. I'm like, wow, I haven't heard this person forever. Hey, man, how are you? I get excited. So imagine when you're reaching out to these people, be the better person. I was telling my daughter, she's like, oh, my friend's making me mad. I was like, just say sorry and make up. Who cares? What is the ultimate goal in your friendship? That's the question. What is my goal here? Is my goal to stay angry? Is my goal to stay pissed? Or is my goal to still be friends? We just got to get through this. If your goal is to be friends and get through it, then you've got to learn to forgive. You've got to learn to move on. And you got to learn to leave a 3, a 5, a 5, and a 6, a 6. You don't need to escalate everything to a 10. Because when you escalate everything to 10, it becomes a bigger problem. Keep them where they're at. And know that you don't have to have the most friends in the world. You just got to have the best friends in the world. That's key. It's very key. And it's the same thing in any relationship, whether you're married or you're dating someone. You've got to give and you've got to get, and it's got to go both ways. And there's going to be times in the relationship you give more, and there's going to be times in the relationship you get more. That's how this works. You can't get pissed off about it. I tell my wife all the time, she's like, I wish you were so nice and sweet and cross your legs and read a book and blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, you don't. You'd be fucking bored. You like that I'm like, fuck that, let's go, bam, 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 bam. Like, that's how I roll. Now, I can have more empathy and sympathy, and I'm working on that. I'm just a hard shell dude. I'm gooey in here, and I'm a hard shell dude on the outside. That's just how that's who I am. Let's not get it twisted, dude. Like, my girl's my girl. I love her. I'm ride or die with her, right? But sometimes she pisses me off, and I know I piss her off. And I kind of like fighting. Keeps it fresh. Some people may go fight all the time. Well, it's like I got a new girlfriend every other day because she changes her damn fighting attitude. It's what happens. It's new. It's good. It keeps it fresh. Who wants boring? I'm getting up to do the same thing every day. Like, I don't like that. Now, I ain't judging y'all. Do what you want. I'm telling you, for me, this works. It works for me. So what works for you is the question. In relationships, what works for you? What makes life easier for you to do things? Like, I love my wife. She's my best friend, and I love her. She's got more friends than I do. We count. I have less than her. And you know what it is? I guess she says I'm closed off. You know, when you run a big company, you can't be everybody's friend because you got to make the decisions, right? So it's kind of hard. So you become kind of a shell. And so it's hard now. You know, I'm not running a big company. I'm like, I want to be people's friends. I want to be pals. And I don't know. What are you going to do? I believe everyone needs a few friends. You don't need 10. You don't need 5. You need 2 or 3. And look, if you don't have any friends right now, get you some friends. Start talking to people. Start mingling. Sometimes you got to do things you're uncomfortable with. Life is part of living uncomfortable. Like, you can't just be comfortable in life. You got to be uncomfortable. You got to try new things, eat new foods, go new places. It's the only way to make friends. And then when you make friends, you try to keep those friends, but you got to put in the work. Nothing is free. Relationships aren't free. You got to put the effort in. How you doing, homie? You good? Great. I'm fantastic. How are the kids? High five. The wife's good? Awesome. You got to check in with people. It can't just be about yourself. It's got to be about them. I'm telling you. And I've had to learn sometimes too. I'm a talker, not a great listener. I'm a better listener now. But everyone's got to adapt to be the best version they can be. So the question to you is, what are you going to do with the bad friends you got? Probably need to cut them out of your life. What are you going to do with the good friends? You need to bring them closer. You need to put more effort in and make that relationship bond better. Now, you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, your mama's podcast, your third cousin's podcast, Cousin Vinny's podcast, wherever. We talk about aliens, talk about politics, talk about all the above here on Jayson Waller Unleashed. Check it out. That's a wrap on today's show. Bam!